Marty Leonards. We are live from Lollapalooza, and I'm joined right now by a guest who actually played at this festival last year, speaking of two-timers. Jenny Lewis, you played with Postal Service last year.
I did. Hello, everyone. And I'd just like to let you know how I pronounce the last band's name that we just heard.
How?
Phoenix. Phoenix for the win.
So what was it like last year with Postal Service? That was so much fun. I mean, that tour must have been incredible. Postal Service, the band with Ben Gibbard and Jimmy Tamborello, who reunited last year, and Jenny was part of that and did a whole tour. What was that like for you?
It was magical, but the Lolla show was bittersweet in that the next night would be our very last show ever.
Right.
We played at the Metro.
Yeah, and we broadcast that live.
Oh, you did?
We did.
See,
yeah.
They never tell me when they broadcast it live. That's very smart.
Yeah. I thought you were just mugging for me anyway. I didn't know.
But it was really emotional for us.
I bet,
Getting
yeah.
back together after 10 years and then playing your last show, I broke down a little bit after
Yeah.
the show, but it was like a joyful breakdown. You know?
I think everyone in the crowd did, and when you played Such Great Heights for the second time, I mean, you guys played it twice. The entire place was singing it, and it was great. It was just great.
That was my
night.
idea, actually. I take credit for that. That
Way to
comes from
go.
the Watch the Throne tour,
Way to
where they
go.
played a song. I won't mention the title, but they played it, I think, 8 times at the concert in Los Angeles.
Oh my God!
At the Staples Center. 8 times,
That's-
one single. So sick. So cool.
We're gonna have to do that in your show. Which song will you play 8 times from the new Voyager record?
Hopefully an uplifting one.
Yeah, well, you first came to everyone's attention with the band Rilo Kiley a bunch of years ago, and this is now your 3rd solo album. The third, I guess, under your own name, right?
3rd record. And, it's funny, I never set out to be a solo artist. I always wanted to be in a band. That was my dream.
Yeah.
And I just ended up making these solo records. And now here I am on stage by myself, looking around like, where is everybody?
Well, but you have a lot of help on these records too. I mean, you're a really good collaborator. You've learned that years ago with Conor Oberst doing things with him, and on this new album, you work with some great talents. Ryan Adams had a big part in this record, producing it, right?
He
The
did.
Voyager record, by the way.
The Voyager. Yeah, Ryan, I reached out to him on Twitter, modern world that we live in, and asked him if I could come in and record one song I had been working on in a Keith Richards kind of open tuning. And we cut the one tune, and by the end of the day, he asked if I would recut my whole record at his studio, Paxam, in Hollywood.
How much of it was complete at that time? How much had you done?
I had versions and versions. That was almost the name of the record, Versions. And I kind of just let it all go when Ryan offered. And he brought such a new, great feeling to my songs. I really needed it. I needed help.
Yeah, he kind of just had you just record the songs, right? Like just perform it, just do it, and that kind of was the take that you ended up using.
Yeah, well, we put together a great band that included Ben Tench from the Heartbreakers.
Oh.
Ryan, lead guitar. My friend Griff from Dawes on drums. And we just rolled through it, We did a couple takes, and we always ended up choosing the second take.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how people used to make music.
Right.
You make music in a room with other musicians. Not to say that's the only way to make music, because the Postal Service certainly didn't come about in that way. But it sure is fun when you're kind of stuck in your own way to just make tunes with people.
Yeah. It's kind of cool that Ben Tench works with so many musicians younger than he is. He's really, in the middle of the scene, like with Connor and Dawes and bands like that. That's kind of cool.
He's great, and he plays a lot with Ryan, and
Yeah.
he brings what we call the fog
What's
to
that?
a song. It's like this underlying keyboard thing, and you can't define what it is, but it just glues everything together. He's one of the greats, and to
Yeah.
be able to play with him, and he actually arranged one of the songs on my record, a song called Late Bloomer. Ryan was like, I don't know what to do with this. Just play for Benmont. And Benmont was like, oh, I get it. It's like Highway 61. Like 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it. Oh, my gosh.
We're talking with Jenny Lewis live from Lollapalooza on XRT. Your songwriting, to me, when I hear it, is so conversational. It's almost feels like you're just talking to the person who's listening to the song, and there's music along with it, but it's intimate in a way that's unlike other songs that I can think of. I mean, I feel like I'm on the phone with you and you're just telling me a story. You're telling me something that happened in your life or someone else's life. That's kind of a cool thing. How do you think of it like that?
I think recently I've tried to really hone in on that voice and just express something that is me. I've written in the past in characters. Mm-hmm. And even my singing voice is a little bit different because I'm writing for the story and the song. But for this record, I wanted it to be, I'm the storyteller. And I wanted each song to be consistent in that way.
Yeah. It's pretty cool that this record already is getting a lot of attention press-wise. New York Times Magazine article last week. What's it like being the subject of one of those sorts of profiles? Because it seems like, I don't know, the writers always seem like they're part of your life at that point, and here's a conversation you have in a car. Is it weird when you read those later on?
I don't read them. I have in the past, and I always get bummed. So on this one, my policy was don't read any of the reviews, don't read any of the press. I'm on Twitter, so I'll read like a little blurb, but that's it. Mm-hmm. And I actually feel pretty good because it's never totally accurate.
Yeah.
And how someone what a weird thing to read something about yourself based on how someone perceives you.
Right.
It's so wacky. And I think if you read too much of that stuff, it could affect the thing that got you there in the first place,
right,
which is your voice as a writer.
Yeah, it's kind of it must be a scary thing when you find out that's what you're doing. You're like, oh.
But for me, with this record, I've been really open about some of the things that inspired it and some of the things that just happen in everyone's life. The loss of a parent. I couldn't sleep for a while. But then I have to, the consequences of that, like doing a really weird interview where someone says, so your dad died, tell me about that. And you're like, oh man, did you have to put it like that?
Oh, that was my next question.
Oh no. So your dad died. Here's the scoop.
Live from Lollapalooza with Jenny Lewis here on XRT. The video for the song "One of the Guys." It's nice to have friends who are very, very talented who can be in your video. Though, they act really well. Kristen Stewart plays a guy really well. Her facial expressions, it's amazing.
She's so good. She's so good. And I was so lucky that they trusted me as a first-time director. And I think they really connected with the song, the lyrics in the song, because we all go through that. And we've all been kind of criticized and scrutinized publicly. So it was a really fun opportunity to kind of poke fun at it, have a sense of humor, but also kind of speak to like the underlying theme of the song.
Yeah, it's if you haven't seen the video, you should check it out. It's funny, and it's insightful as well. But Kristen Stewart and Anne Hathaway and Brie Larson and Tennessee Thomas,
whose father plays in Elvis Costello's band.
Pete Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah. All kind of cross-dressing in it as dudes, basically, just dudes. And I love that there's the kind of awkward handshake, shoulder bump, hug. And that's how those things work out all the time.
And I don't know if you want to tell the listeners what I'm wearing right now.
You're wearing probably a tracksuit from that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freebie.
Well, you played last night at Park West. Great room to play. And you'll be at the festival playing here this evening in the Grove stage. Have you checked out? Have you sound checked over there? Have you been on that stage?
They don't give you a sound check.
No?
At Lollapalooza.
Well,
unless you're like, Phoenix.
Well, you're gonna love the stage. It's tucked under the trees. It's like it's like you're in the woods.
Well, last year was such a blur. Honestly, playing for that many people with the Postal Service after Kendrick Lamar, I was kind of in a daze. So I feel a little more present for this performance. Voyager
is the name of the album. It just came out this week, this past Tuesday. It's a really good record, and we're going to play a song from it right now. We're going to play the one that we were talking about with the video, and it's One of the Guys.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Jenny Lewis, live from Lollapalooza here on XRT.